Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to rise and shred. It's Tuesday. It's not Monday. We probably confused you, but I'm here with Jacob Gaffney. He's got the beanie on. It's cold in Texas. There's some things going on, but Jacob is still with us because he continues to persevere. He continues to push through the pain and bring you the best of the best when it comes to the one, the only daily diary of the mortgage industry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rise and Shred. Jacob, it's a little cold in Texas, brother. It's you guys got some craziness going on down there.
Man, it is unreal. This state is so broken right now. Send your thoughts, send your prayers. You know, Texas has always been like, we don't need you. United States, we're going to succeed. We're going to be our own nation. And then this snowstorm happens. I found out our grid is part of a political thing where they will not help anybody else. They will not ask for help. They have their own power grid, and it is failing, brother. It is failing bad. Our windmills are frozen. Our refineries are shut. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people without power, freezing, 50 degrees overnight in their homes. It's been crazy. It's been nuts. You wouldn't believe it. It's a snow day, man. Yesterday, President's Day. It's a snow day. You and I talked. We were like, dude, let's hang out with our families. Let's chill. Let's, let's live this life. And then this happens, and rolling blackouts. You know what the rolling blackouts are in Texas?
What?
5 hours without power, 2 hours with power, 5 more hours without power.
Seriously,
my
dude,
kid's
that's crazy.
daycare was out of power from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. yesterday.
That's absolutely nuts. But hey, Texas is all about yeehaw, we got our own. But now they're like, was this the best idea? Did we make a mistake somewhere? Oh man,
that's a good point. They took the federal aid. They asked for federal aid. They took it. You're right. We're not quite ready to succeed down in Texas just yet.
Not quite there yet, but hey, you're close. You're close. But so let's, where do you want to start today, Jay? Where are we going with today? There's so much we can talk about today. And I'm kind of excited because there's a lot of things that people should be listening. I mean, talking about, discussing, and Texas is just one of them. And as Jacob mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, keep everybody down in Texas in your thoughts and prayers. It's just it's a wild ride. You never know what to expect. You never know what's going to be next. But we have some fun things to talk about this morning, Jacob.
We do. Where do you want to start? Let's do a choose your own adventure.
Choose your adventure?
You read the Rise and Shred.
I do. All right, let's start here then. If you're going to let me choose this adventure, let's start walking down this route. So we're kind of already talking about this. Texas, most people are working from home. Salesforce in particular has kind of come up with a solution, or what they're deeming a solution for the work from home, work from anywhere. Let's chat about that a little bit because again, you're at home. I'm at my office, but just down the street from my house, most of us are in that type of environment where we're working from home. Is this idea, or is this proposal at Salesforce, is this actually valid? Like, do you think it's going to work?
So here's the thing. All right, let me break it down for you, and we'll start with Texas. It was so funny when the lockdown happened last year, and the governor was like, "You can't lock us down. You can't keep us in. Blah 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 blah. We are freedom, freedom, freedom. USA, USA, USA." This happens, and the governor's like, "You got to stay at home. You got to stay locked down. Oh my gosh, please don't go anywhere. There's pileups. There's okay." It's getting a little bit crazy because no one can predict the future, and everything seems to always be changing. Salesforce has said, we've had enough. We're not going to let snowstorms dictate us. We're not going to let global pandemics dictate us. We're going to dictate ourselves. Everyone gets to work from home permanently all the time. Done. They said that's it. They're adopting the model of a hybrid work from home strategy, which says basically this. Okay.
Okay.
And I love the way they did it. And the reason why we mentioned Salesforce is that everyone should just at least observe their method to come to this conclusion. They have hundreds of thousands of employees. They surveyed every single last one of them, or gave them the opportunity to answer, right?
Wow.
They sent out a questionnaire and said, what's your ideal work situation? Can you imagine Google? Can you imagine Apple? Can you imagine any of these brand narcissistic companies saying that the CEOs, name any of the top lenders in our space, could you imagine the CEOs emailing everybody and saying, tell me what you want to do? That's what Salesforce did. they actually treated their employees like adults. Their employees responded like adults. They said, this is what we like. They adopted. And this is what it is. You can work from home all the time and you will not be punished for it. But if you want to come in, if you want to collaborate, we recommend 1-2 days at a minimum, maximum 3, that you come into the office to collaborate. We're going to reduce our office space. We're going to reduce our sizes. We're going to reduce our overhead costs. That's going to be bad. There's a pending commercial real estate disaster happening with retail and office blowing up, but that's a completely different subject.
Story for another day.
Awesome. Yeah. What's so awesome is Salesforce is doing what their employees want.
Yeah.
And I think that's recognizing that this lockdown has really impacted the psyche of everyone involved, and they will continue to work. But do you want them to be zombies just floating through, or do you want real collaborative? And do you want to be able to say, look, you guys picked this?
Right. 100%. So here's for everybody watching right now too. We got quite a few people jumping on with us. I'd love to hear your thoughts. How are you reacting to this? Because you mentioned your mental state of a lot of people. I know with a lot of discussion that I've had with many mortgage professionals, real estate professionals, they are kind of going a little bit crazy. I don't know if I don't want to use that term too loosely, but it's affecting people. So I love this idea that Salesforce has. And I think we need to find ways to continue to collaborate to meet those human needs of being able to build relationships. Not like you and I do. Talking, but comment below, ladies and gentlemen, how has your experience been? Like, have you found that flow every single day working from home? Are you going into an office? I'd be intrigued. How many of you actually are still going to an office? I know there are some people that are still going to an office 1 or 2 days a week, but I do think Salesforce they have been so monumental when it comes to idea, thought leadership within any space. Any type of CRM space, and they just continue to push the envelope. And if Salesforce is doing it, it's a pretty good model to probably duplicate or at least replicate within in our own models. So.
Well, you asked me how I'm doing, and I'm wearing deep winter clothing while I'm on a call with you where I said etiquette is slipping, right? So yep. I don't want to be dressed like this. I want to be, we do have power. We're conserving energy. The state has asked people with power to not use it as much. So we're foregoing all of the amenities of what we thought was a first economy down here in Texas, right? So we're making some sacrifices. Hopefully next week I'll look pretty for you again, Josh.
You look devilish, dude. I love the beanie look. I love beanies as well. I'm totally all about beanies. But so talking about this, kind of on this same kind of within the same thought, I guess. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, but we actually featured a story about the worst Zoom call ever because we're doing a lot of these Zoom calls. We didn't get a touch base on this last week, but I think it's noteworthy. Jacob, tell us, this is literally, if you guys didn't watch it, it's cringeworthy. Go back. We'll post a link below, but you have to see this because, Jacob, this was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. It was a city council meeting. It was in England. Look, I worked in England, in London and the financial markets for 10 years. And I can tell you, it is the most English thing ever. This Zoom call spends 10 minutes there arguing about whether or not the meeting has started. That's the best. It only gets from there. They start kicking people off, and it's a city council meeting. So it's supposed to be people that are like public servants, right?
Yep.
But it is hilarious. It's a premium example, like people talking over each other, yelling matches, toilets flushing in the background. Oh my God. You got to go back in the Rise and Shred. You got to look at it.
You have to watch it.
The reason why you need to watch that Zoom meeting is so that you understand that things aren't as bad as you think they are.
Right.
Like it could be so much worse for everyone else out there that things are actually, all things considered, things are actually not as bad as they are. They seem bad. It looks bad, but we're still doing okay. Our market's still doing well. We've had a couple of vibrations in the industry from the investor side, right, who have begun to show a little bit of doubt that the mortgage market can maintain its momentum into 2021. We saw Loan Depot's IPO price a little lower, but it bounced back. I was looking at it just today. I was looking at one way I also look at the indication of health is lenders who are hiring. All lenders are still hiring. They're still looking for workers. Underwriters continue to be in high demand. What does that tell you about where the market is headed next? Okay, as long as rates hold steady, and we discussed this at Rise and Shred, so you just sign up to it. Rates are going to raise a little bit, but it's not going to push people outside of the refi window as much as we want. So we have an opportunity to do more work. But let's talk about that millionaire who paid off his mortgage.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we got to talk about this too, because this is pretty intriguing, guys. If you didn't see this, this is from a pretty prominent person within the industry paying off their mortgage and then just getting berated on Twitter. So let's go into that, Jacob, because this is pretty funny actually. I thought this was just like, wow.
I have to editorialize a little bit on this one. I tend to agree with Twitter for once. Okay, millionaire pays off his mortgage. Says he lost the fire to hustle and make money because he no longer has that huge looming debt every month to pay. Good for him, right?
Sure.
Twitter had a field day with him, man.
Oh, dude.
It's in today's Rise&Shred, and it was crazy. They were accusing him of losing his own passion, not being a self-motivated person. He's still making a ton of dough. Oh. I mean, he's just awash with cash. Good for him. He doesn't need a stimulus check. I hope he sends it back or gives his to charity while the rest of us are sitting here freezing in Texas with a mortgage due. I think it's just it just goes to show you just how leaders can often be seen as being out of touch. And this goes back to the Salesforce thing that where they're making effort. And, there's a lot of leaders in our industry that do go out of their way to touch base with their people and try to keep them safe, and hats off to them. But I have to wonder if this industry could use a little bit more of that leadership, if there needs to be a little bit more of that outreach to people to really make it an important part of day to day, to let people decide their own fate. The Wells Fargo job listings, they're all remote. Everything's remote. When you look at jobs for Wells Fargo, loan officers, underwriters, everything's remote. This could be the new reality. If you're hiring a remote workforce, how do you keep them motivated? Someone you've never met in person, how do you keep them motivated? Do you have the answer, Josh?
I don't know. I think it goes back to something you and I were talking about, and we kind of mentioned it, is you have to be willing and you have to be able to give some people that breathing room. You have to be able to give them something different and exciting within their job. But I don't know if nobody has a perfect answer. I don't know. What's your answer?
I love the Salesforce method. I think it's just a tremendous step forward for the industry to give workers the opportunity to act like professionals. I think that's just so important. And some of the people I talk to, I don't want to mention names, but they're learning. And that's what's important, is that the leaders are learning how to adapt. And that's going to be key that's just going to be key for the future. Now, whether or not we're going to rush to the NBA in San Diego, that's something that people can't even seem to think about right now.
Right.
So it's going to happen, but are you going to go? Who's going to go? We don't know. So there's so much that's unknown, and everything's changing, that the least thing an employer can do is let their people know that they're steady, that they're thinking about themselves. Yep. Don't let outward appearances do your role for you. You do it.
Right.
You reach out to your people. You tell them we're doing good. I mean, I love the story of the bonuses of people for spreading the love. I wish there was more to that. I wish there was more of that.
Yep.
But it's a crazy, crazy time. And it just goes to show you what's happening in Texas right now, just how fragile everything is.
100%.
Not just at an economic level, but at a personal level. Things are very fragile. And you can't expect people to have the same strength you hold within you. That's just it, man. You got to reach out. You got to show them.
You do have to show them. You have to be willing to be the one to put the initiative in and reach out to those people. And actually, I love that story about the bonuses as well, because again, we got to find ways to motivate. Going back to your question just a second, how do you find ways to motivate? How do you find ways to inspire? How do you find ways to lead from the front? And I think it's these little ways, these things that we're discussing, that at least get you going down that path, that at least are opening the door, start again pushing your team forward, working together, and that collaboration. So, but I want to completely switch gears on this, because there's two things I want to continue before we start wrapping up the show today. Freaking Zillow and Saturday Night Live. This just made me laugh out. Like, there's some funny stuff going on, from the guy who paid off his mortgage to this now. Like, I watched the video. I don't know if we can say much more than that. Like this is a rated for all audiences show, but Saturday Night Live took it to a next level with Zillow.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts, Jacob?
I thought it was strangely accurate about how people use Zillow. I've known real estate agents who spend $10,000 a month in getting marketing. A lot of that comes from Zillow. They have a return rate of less than 1%.
Jeez.
People are looking at Zillow for their own entertainment, but they are not using it the way it was meant to be used, which is a real estate listing service. There are very few buyers who are actually on Zillow. It's primarily homeowners who are looking at the potential. It's a good starting point. And so the Saturday Night Live ad shows people surfing Zillow as if it's a dating site.
It's so good.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And it is very much, it's okay. We're going to go not safe for work. Okay.
Let's go.
If your volume's up and you're around other people, you're going to have to put in your headphones or turn me down for a second. But the SNL Zillow ad was property pornography.
It totally was, dude.
It is. And that is what we're stuck at home. We're probably sick of like traditional pornography. We're now switched to property pornography, and that's what we're doing. And it's a very, very adult thing. Don't judge, don't kink shame anybody. If you go in and you catch your spouse on Redfin, it's okay. They don't have a problem. Okay, they're just in the middle of a thing. Okay, and it's going to work itself out eventually once we can actually walk around the neighborhood again. So,
it's a phase. It's a phase. Don't judge. No judgment here. You get on Redfin. You get on Zillow. You do your thing. It's cool.
You do it. You open up your incognito window, and you head over to NAR.
I was gonna say, make sure you guys open that incognito window. You don't want your company seeing all your search histories of Zillow, Redfin. Guys, be careful out there. We don't want to be in trouble. But
Josh,
what?
Have you been viewing other houses?
No, never.
Are you sure? I'm looking at your search history, and you've been looking at other properties.
No, never. No. Are you
sure?
Are
you virtually touring other properties without me?
No way. I'd never do that without you. It's just me and you. It's always me and you. I'd never do that. I'd never do that to you.
Oh, okay. Well,
no. I was on all. It wasn't Zillow. It was OnlyFans. It was OnlyFans. I promise. It wasn't Zillow.
Is it me?
No, it's never you. It's me. It's me.
Well, I want to believe you, so I will.
Good. I appreciate it. We have that relationship. We have that mutual respect. So this leads into that next thing. Zillow, Redfin, iBuyers are liars. This was a big story. This is something that I think is really intriguing.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Yeah. So Rise and Shred. Sorry to cut you off there, but
no, you're good.
The headline was iBuyers are iLiars, and that is an example of how Rise and Shred, as the only daily diary of the mortgage industry, takes a little bit of liberties with it. Mike Delpreet, the independent analyst, actually said that the iBuyers are obfuscating their data. So he's a huge intellect. He uses big words, but basically he's saying they're lying about their books. He's saying they are not profitable, and it's almost the way he presents it. It's almost unethical the way they present their data to investors, because they're getting huge amounts of investments. We've talked about investors in the space, the money flooding into the space, and a lot of it's flowing to Zillow, to Open Door, to all of them. They're these iBuyers. They're saying they actually have very, very little market share, and the money they spend per property is actually much, much higher than what they're reporting to investors. And it's not just, the discrepancy is not a small amount, Josh. The discrepancy indicates something that is almost universal among the iBuyers he's measuring.
Intriguing.
You've got it. Unfortunately, he sends emails out. So if you're not hooked up to Mike Delpreet's email machine, you're not in the know. Rise and Shred's in the know. We're sending you all the bits that are important, but it does go deeper. He goes much deeper. If you email down at the bottom, you can email the editor of Rise and Shred. You can email Nora. You can email Josh. We're more than happy to forward that email to you if you want more. You said you got a bunch of inquiries about it. So what I'll do, Josh, I'm just going to shoot you the email right now.
Done.
Okay. So and anybody that you're getting, you could just tell them to sign up, and I'll just 100%. Do that right now. You're not in the middle of anything, are you? You're not busy.
Nope, of course not. I'm just chilling with you, man. Just chilling. But that's just it. You guys have to tune into the daily diary that is Rise and Shred. There's also a link below so you can subscribe so you don't miss things like this. That's what we're giving it to you right within every single day. So don't miss a single episode of Rise and Shred. Jacob, anything else you want to highlight? Anything else big coming up that we should be aware of this week?
I'll have a better idea once the snow clears here in Texas.
Once the blackout.
Our news cycle is pretty much wrapped around what a disaster we've created for ourselves. We continue to put out the Rise and Shred and covering the important issues of the industry. Shout out to Molly and Jerry, guest. Love Up Next. If you're not subscribed to an even better daily email with Up Next, I mean, they never miss a beat. They've got another great team over there. And thank you so much for joining in. Any support we can give to ourselves and each other now that we're facing this Texas disaster where we're getting in our cars just to charge our phones. We are always stronger together, everyone. Stronger together.
Stronger. I love that. Jerry, Molly, huge shout out to them. We actually have them on the show later this week on Thursday. So make sure you tune into the Shred show this Thursday because Jerry and Molly will be joining us. And I love that. That's a great note to end on, Jacob, is we are stronger together. We truly are, ladies and gentlemen. You can't do this alone. Going back from what we started with, you cannot, with our mental state, with being able that work from home, work from anywhere, we need each other now more than ever. Support each other, be there for each other, and be willing to collaborate and be strong together. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, the one, the only, the brilliant, the absolutely devilishly handsome in the red or in the orange beanie this morning. Look at that. Look at that. He should go into modeling. Jacob Gaffney, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you do not miss a single daily diary with Rise and Shred. Click the link below so you guys can subscribe. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for all of you to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you again so much for joining us for today's show. If you like the content, make sure you hit that like button below. And if you already haven't subscribed to our channel, click right over here and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to see our latest video, click over here. And again, if you want to see the best of daily content within the mortgage and real estate industries, you have to subscribe now. We look forward to having you shred with us every single day.